Welcome to TUBARS by Uncle Briss. Album reviews, ain't nothing ill as this. Putting on for the tri-state, my state, home of Philly, even the West Coast they feeling. They shared and bombed in Detroit, they watching. Subscribe to the channel, they ain't even an option. International grinding, like it a comment. Ain't no acting Hollywood, he holler back in the comments. Putting out whack music is risky. Peanut butter artists get the skip piece. If you nice, then he rate you on a family scale. Underground to mainstream, he makes it well. Some reviews are so opinionated. On keep it real, like it or hate it. But how can you hate it? It's next to greatness. At Uncle Briss 30, do me that favor. Follow that, promise he'll follow back. Realest thing to hit the internet. Haters swallow that.
And in case you don't know who it is, it's the Uncle. Welcome to another episode of TUBARS, the Uncle Briss Sound Review Show. And this week, listen, it's been a long time. These boys been away for 11 years was the last time they put something out. I'm talking about De La Soul. They have now released in the Anonymous Nobody. So you definitely don't want to miss what I got to say about that. My man Vince Staples, he brought out Summertime 06 last year. He's back with a nice little EP. Prima Donna, you don't want to miss what I got to say about that. And of course, my neighbors from across town, this beautiful family, Kendrick and The Family Soul. I was waiting for this album to come out, and they finally bought Legacy of Love. So you definitely don't want to miss what I got to say about that. But this is the time when I piss all of y'all off and I tell y'all about what I was able to grab this past week. Listen, my man Anthony David, this boy's been bringing out some quality R&B music for years. He brought out The Powerful Now. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. Currency, like I said before, he's been working real hard, y'all. He brought out Revolver. Don't miss out on that. Kirk O'Bangs, the Texas representative, he's back flossing. You might want to pick that up. And look, G-Unit, I don't know where they was at. They had some little stuff laying around, but they got the Lost Flash Drive. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. And look, another one of my neighbors, he brought out a nice quality album this past week. My man Wise, nothing alike. This fool got Poop Papers on there. He got Reed Dollars on this album. He got a nice track called Trials and Tribulations that you definitely don't want to miss out on. And one of my favorite tracks on this whole album, This Morning. I'm telling you, man, if you miss out on this album by my man Wise, you're just going to be asleep. And I'll be back after these messages.
I woke up this morning just thinking that crossed my mind. The pain that I felt when my mother got cancer, I almost lost my mind. What make it so real just came from a bid. This chain of events go forcing me just not wanna live. Lord knows I'm blessed with my wife. She worth by the billion. Let me double that price. Lost both of my brothers for playing this game that's a part of my life. The funny thing is, I'm so deep in it, right? Let me take a little deeper. Just walk with a nigga. Sit down and have a conversation and talk to a nigga. So worried about this social media with Meek and Drake. And need to be worried about if Ebola is still in the States. Lord knows, we just need some help. Standing in line for sneakers and designer belts. Cause they talking, Philly we broke. But we just paid like 50 million to host a pope. Let me ask you a question. How that cool? Should've paid that money to open them schools. We blinded by money, material things that we can't even take. When we place to the grave, they gon' ask where was your faith? Or who was your Lord? Or how did you pray? Who did you follow? What would you say? When I talk to them kids, I try to explain what is deep in their life. See what happened to Freddie, what happened to Mike.
Hey, I'm back. Welcome to the second segment. TUBARS, Brick Sound Review Show. And listen, my man Vince Staples, he been making some noise here lately. Last year he brought out that nice quality album, Summertime '06. If you ain't grabbed it, you definitely need to pick that up. One thing I enjoy about my man Vince is his beat selection is always on point, and he always got something to say. So going into this new album, well, EP rather, Prima Donna, I kind of knew what to expect, but he did surprise me a little bit. So you know what? I'ma hop right in. The intro, it begins with him singing like, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine," and he's basically just priming us and getting us ready for the concept of the album. And at the end of the intro, you hear like this gunshot, and on the outro, my man Vince talks about committing suicide and wanting to give up. So everything in the middle of this definitely is surrounding this concept of this little EP here. So then we hop into War Ready. Now at the outset of this particular track, you hear Andre 3000 as he's trying to cut it into the chorus. It's a nice little sample, and the beat on this particular track is so banging, as my man Vince Staples just talks about how he's ready for war, and if you bring it to him, he's definitely prepared. And the one thing that I enjoy about this track is he talks about young black guys being hunted out here, and that's the reason why he's ready for war. Then we hop into Smile, and Smile has like this electric guitar. It's like a mid-tempo beat, and you know what? This track, I think it's about 5 minutes long, and I was digging into it, but when it gets kind of halfway through the song, I kind of get a little irritated with it. So guess what? In the middle of that, unfortunately, Skippies. And then we get into Kino Kush, and I'm gonna tell you, I love this track. I love the beat, and my man Vince talks about his crazy lifestyle, and it's just one of those tracks that I definitely will be going back to just because of the production on it. And then we get into Prima Donna, which features A$AP Rocky. Now, of course, when you see A$AP Rocky, you know the track is going to be dope. But A$AP Rocky just did the chorus on this particular track, and he actually laced the chorus pretty good. This beat, it's very different. As I stated about Vince, he chooses these different types of beats, and the way that he loops these beats is very creative, in my opinion. And this actually goes all through this EP. And Vince at the end, he talks about how he's fed up, and he wants to be a better person. He's fed up with the type of life that he's living right now, and he just wants to be a better person and do better. So I really thought that was dope, because my man is really talking about living forever, and Vince, like I said, he always got something to say. Then we get into and I tell you, this beat is bananas, and it's like brag rap, and he's basically telling these boys out here, how to pimp be slapping the chicks out here, you know what I mean, because they the man, and that's basically what this song is about. It's like, I'm the man, I'm gonna use my pimp hand, I'm the man. So I really thought that was dope. Then we get into Big Time, another crazy beat. Once again, Vince, shout out to you, because you picked some really dope beats, man, and he just addresses a lot of people who wouldn't listen to him. It's a little bit of brag rap in here. Once again, the production, it grabbed me. He addresses being fronted on by radio stations and fake dudes in the rap game. He addresses those, and he also addresses these fake dudes out here in the streets too. So I'ma rate this. It was a short little EP. Like I said, it got the outro on the back end, where he talks about committing suicide, and he's going through a whole lot of things. I wish it was a little bit longer. So on an Uncle Brish rating, I definitely had to call my cousin on this one. I'll be back after these messages.
If I have to travel a million miles, well, a million miles I'm gonna travel.
That's what I'm here to do.
And what you need,
What I need is
and what you want,
just who I am.
I'll get it for you somehow.
Wow.
Yes, I will, baby.
Note to self, look what a little hard worker do. I knew I was dope back when I was out past my curfew. No, I ain't here
to the third segment of TUBARS, the Uncle Briss Album Review Show. And listen, this group, they're my neighbors. I fell in love with them, I think in like 03, 04 when they came out with this beautiful body of work, Surrender of Love. What else did they have? They had In This Lifetime together. They had Love Has No Recession. I'm talking about the modern day Ashford and Simpson, Kendrick and The Family Soul. They're back with Legacy of Love. And I'm going to tell you, if you are in any kind of relationship or you've been in one for years, you definitely will appreciate their music and how they just embody love and how it's displayed in this music. They begin with a nice intro track called Love Is. It has a nice young lady on there, Lena Danzler, if I'm not mistaken. She sounds like a little kid, but she has like a poem at the end. In the intro, it just talks a little bit about what love is, so it's a nice way to begin this album. Then we get into Welcome to My World. And this is a great song as Kendrick and The Family Soul, the husband and the wife, they talk about, it's basically like a new start. And it's something that's beautiful because they've been together for so many years. They have a big family, but it's just about them basically just starting all over and welcoming each other back into their lives. So I really, really thought that this was a beautiful way to begin this album. Then we get into All My People, which is the single. It came out a couple months ago. I love this track, and it's just basically they're talking about how they want all their family members, all the people that they care about, to live good, to have things that they need in order to survive and just, be content. So I really, really love that track. Then we got Get There, another beautiful track. It's laid out so nice as they talk about how they keep pushing, even though things are rough, and they know that they're still going to get there and they're going to make it in due time as long as they have each other. So I really, really love that track too. Then we got Nobody Like Me. And if you've ever been in a relationship, you've ever been in love with somebody, and you express these feelings to them, this is just one of those songs that just displays that love. They just express it towards one another, and they just tell each other, that it's nobody like them, and that's why they're with each other. And then we got Where Do We Go? This song tells a couple different stories. It kind of puts you in the place of the people that they're talking about, as they're like in trying situations and these things that they have to face, and you have to just find your way out. So I really, really thought that was a dope track too. Never Know, I'm gonna tell you, this beat, it begins with a nice head nodding sound. I love the message about being prepared for things that might happen, surprises, you're negative. Just be patient because, you never know when things will turn around for the better, and you got to be prepared for that. So, Kendrick, so far, beautiful. Then we get into the title track, Legacy of Love, and I'm going to tell you, this song, it just goes through their legacy together, and how they have that chemistry. The funk groove in it is so good, and their chemistry is just displayed on every track. We got Going All the Way, another nice track. Another one, it has like a hip hop undertone to it. As they talk about, how this is another one, like another hit. So I really, really like the concept on that. We got Moving On, which just talks about things that you go through that make you strong, and even though the trials of life, they come before you, and life is getting shorter, the road is longer, but you just got to move past that. Listen, they complement each other on every track. I really, really dig this album. They have All My People remix at the end. I'm gonna rate this. I'm gonna get off of your nerves. Shout out to Kendrick and The Family Soul for just being consistent with making some beautiful soul music and music for couples out here that is completely lost in today's music. So I definitely had to give Kendrick and The Family Soul my first cousin. I'll be back after these messages.
Good. putting in work. So don't come to me talking about what I ain't did, I ain't doing, cause I done a lot. See, it be your homies who eating with you for the longest, it's one of your spot. My partner, so you know I'm watching my back. I show my emotions, they feeling it. How shit you feel when I've been on the track? My frequency's rising, they bite what they hearing like Tyson. We built that wave that we riding, we gon' create a new wave that they riding. I can control that Poseidon, see that my ego Goliath. I tend to see catch like a titan. Hey, I know my energy righteous. When I turned 19, that's the first time that my third eye blinked. Then I woke up to what the world can't see, turned into something that the world can't be. On another level that the world ain't on. When I earn racks when they play my songs, when I smoke a couple bats when we make home runs, then I run it for my home, but she don't want none. Honestly, I just been focused on grab. I hear they raps and I laugh, and I don't mean to brag, but your best shit is sounding like my ass. I'm blowing up and I'm having a blast. They spent a month I was out of my ass. We just made music, it's making them mad that we been had that drop, so you know they gon' gas, and I'm punching that clock like I'm cat shit. Clay, and you know I'm on my job. And the same hoes that told me now I was the same ones on my job. No, they hate the grind and they hate the shine, but this love is all I got. Smoking OG with my OG, ho please. Got the vision, better get your Oakleys. No we got.
Hey, I'm back. Welcome to the fourth segment of TUBARS, the Uncle Brisson Review Show. And listen, it's been a hiatus. These boys been making some dope music for so many years. Where you been at? Finally, they're back. De La Soul. Anonymous. Nobody. I'm going to tell you, if you don't got this, y'all need to go download this, because these boys, first off, their track record speaks for itself. 3 Feet High and Rising. Me, myself, and I, we used to jam to that back in the day. They had one of the best albums that ever came out. De La Soul is dead. It's a very hard find. If you can get your hands on it, please get it. Balloon Mind Stakes is high. Artificial Intelligence. They've worked with some of the greats. Mos Def, Common, MF Doom. The list can go on and on and on. Tribe, whoever you want to know. It's Data. They begin the album with a track called Genesis. It features Jill Scott, and I'm gonna tell you, when I saw Jill Scott, I thought she was gonna, bless the mic. She sings so beautifully. Plus, she's from my hometown, so I had to go in. But she's really just talking to us, giving us a little advice, on things that we should strive for. So a nice way to begin this album. Then we get into royalty games, and I'm gonna tell you, my man Dave, aka True Roy, aka Dave, whatever you want to call it. He begins with these kingship bars that just display why I fell in love with De La Soul from the start. This track is showing the game that De La Soul should be considered as royalty, and if you don't consider him that, then you need to listen to this track. Then we get into Game featuring Snoop Dogg. Now I don't know if they've ever worked together before in the past, so this kind of marriage was a little new for me, and I'm gonna tell you, it's an up-tempo type of beat. I dug it. It seems like it's trying to get you to dance. But Snoop Dogg, when he starts spitting those freestyle bars, they always come off mediocre. So I like the song until Snoop starts to rhyme, and then I just kind of go past that. Then we get into property of SpitKicker.com, and this features Rock Marciano. And let me tell you, when this beat comes on, your head starts to nod. It's the veteran display on this particular track is just unprecedented. The chorus, it tells the listener, that this ain't nothing new for De La. My man Rock, he spits some dope bars on here. My man True Roy, he tells us, that sometimes his bars are a little complex. It can fly over our heads. This is hip hop. The beat is smooth but hard, so I really, really love this track. And then we get into Memory Of, and this features Estelle and the great Pete Rock. And as the beat begins to build, you hear Estelle's soft voice come in. I'm telling you, this song, it embodies the feelings you miss for something that you made, that you love, that you may have lost, and even the things of the past that you love that are gone. You start to reminisce about those things, and you start to feel bad about it. My man Pasanus, he talks about the past, when he got signed and how he fell in love with music, but when he got signed, it kind of gave him that little sourness about that. And my man Dave, he starts something real personal. He talks about his marriage and how it was at the beginning of the relationship, and how it's gone now. He lost that, so it's real relatable. in a lot of people's lives, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that particular track. Then it's like a little interlude. Then we go into Lord Attended featuring Justin Hawkins, and this just begins with them, you know, walking into like a performance. So you hear the crowd, and you hear like this little rock beat, and then it gets flipped to this crazy beat, yo, and my man Dave, he just starts smashing it with the bars. Paz, he smashes this joint. You definitely don't want to miss out on this track. Then we get into Snoopy's, and this features David Brin. And once again, I hear like this little rock undertone. So I'm like, dang, they did this, you know, like 2 times in a row. But when this beat drops, I'm telling you, y'all, this song is bananas. Please, don't miss out on this, all right? We got Greyhound featuring Usher. My man, Pasanus, he begins to talk about, you know, a woman coming into town. She gets taken, you know, by a guy like befriends her, but then he kind of turns her into like a woman of the night or whatever. So that's a really, really nice track. My man Dave, he talks about a young man who's struggling, and you know he was being ignored by his family, so he chooses, you know, drugs to try to get by. So I really, really thought that the concept of that was dope. We got another interlude called Sexy Chick. You can check that out. Trainwreck, it talks about the difference in women today and the attachment you get after, you know, they might get with you, but really they're bad for you. They're a train wreck, so you might want to stay away from them. I really, really thought that was dope. We got Drawn featuring Little Dragon. That's another, you know, it's a nice R&B track, kind of threw in there. It's for the grown folks, I will say that. Then we got Houdini featuring 2 Chainz. Now, this marriage, I'm gonna tell y'all, in my opinion, it did not work for me. 2 Chainz has been just putting out some real mediocre bars here lately. You know, I don't care. So, unfortunately, they're my squad, De La, but skippies. And we got Nosed Up. I love this, the concept. You know, you got your nose up in the air. You think you better than somebody. You're really not. You know, you're smelling yourself. Nah, cut that out, bruh. Then we got You Go Dave. That's a real comical interlude, and it ends the album rather very, very good with a track called Exodus, and it's basically them walking into a new beginning. You know, like how Exodus was. It's such a great song. You know, it just goes through a little bit of the history of De La Soul. You know, they still doing their own thing. It has a little harmony to it. I really, really love the way that they ended this album. It's a beautiful body of work, y'all. This is hip hop. You definitely don't want to miss out on it. I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna finally get off of y'all nerves. It was a long album, by the way. It had 17 tracks, so I definitely had to rate this my first cousin.
Oh, hey you, and I bet we get along just fine.